Speaking about policies, I mean, are we sure we're not, because those who may believe that there might be a thin line between this National Action Plan on ease of doing business and the ERGP of the government. So they're two separate things. So that the ERGP, clear cut, I mean, is there to also ensure that the economy moves. Yes. But this NAP, it's not the same thing as the ERGP, is it?
Exactly the same thing.
Exactly the same thing as the ERGP.
I was just waiting for him to finish. So this administration, and I beg to differ, has had a systemic approach to making this economy competitive. We've been 145 before. Before we were even 145, we started from 106. In the last decade, we went on a free fall, consistently going backwards. When this administration came into power in 2015, we started immediately on this project and were able to stem the tide. The first thing was that we stopped going backwards. And then we had the PEBEC, we had a systemic approach chaired from the presidency. And that political will, with coordination of over 10 ministers, central bank governor, head of civil service, and then later high-level National Assembly representation, Lagos and Kano State, and of course private sector. That coordination delivered 24 places up. And we were judged the top 10 economy, reform economy in the world last year. It doesn't happen by accident. It's a systemic intervention. We've had plans. That's why you followed the 60-day National Action Plan, step by step, transparently laid out what we were going to achieve. The second National Action Plan also, and we told Nigeria what we delivered on. The first one, we ended at 70%, and with the extension, 83%. The second one, not as good, 52%. That's because the lowest hanging fruits have been mopped up and things are getting harder. The one we started, the Vice President has said, keep me briefed on a weekly basis, not on a monthly basis. And we're following this thing really closely. ERGP has 3 pillars. One of the pillars is on competitiveness. Competitiveness is divided into 2. You have hard infrastructure, which is roads and rail. And the second one is ease of doing business. And that is what this project is. It sits squarely. It actually started before. ERGP is an amalgamation of all what the government had been doing beforehand. So that plan goes to 2020. And that's why I said, rather than saying, okay, we're going to move up 20 places, we're going to move up 30 places, we've jump-started the process. We've proven to ourselves and to everybody, to the whole world, that our systemic approach works.
He mentioned something about the pyramid. Top of the pyramid, middle pyramid, and the bottom of the pyramid. Let's look at that middle and bottom of the pyramid. And that takes me to that point in the National Action Plan where you talk about credit. To run a system, and basically we'll talk about the SMEs running this. How much of credit are those people in the middle and lower part of the pyramid able to get? Based on what is in the ERGP about getting credit from using the movable registry system, are the banks buying into that? And how quickly would it affect the 2 parts of the pyramid?
Yeah. Now, one thing I should say about the entire Ease of Doing Business initiative is that it's targeted at SMEs. So everything from starting a business to insolvency, paying taxes, getting credit, is all targeted at SMEs. We do address ease of doing business discussions and problems for larger corporations, which, I mean, you can see aviation industry. They've been to the presidency a number of times trying to ask for removal of VAT. You have different sectors, organized private sector coming to speak for larger corporates. So their issues are a bit more sophisticated. This particular intervention of the government is targeted at SMEs. We worked very closely with the National Assembly to pass 2 bills to be able to have a rigorous legal environment for getting your credit history and for using your movable property, because SMEs don't have a lot of landed property to use as collateral. So being able to use your factory equipment as collateral is a huge step in Nigeria. Now it's legal. The central bank's National Collateral Registry registers, so you can't go from Kano, leave your property as collateral, and then come to Lagos, get another loan. So that gives banks comfort, especially microfinance banks. Now the next stage, and if you look at the plan, central bank is supposed to enlist 300 microfinance banks. So the collateral registry is working very hard at getting banks to register on the collateral registry and make sure that SMEs...
The 300 microfinance banks.
This is the target for NAP 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the target for 3.0.
Is it for a whole year plan or is it up to 2020? We're looking at like timelines.
No, we're trying to onboard 300 new microfinance banks
New.
onto the collateral registry so that they can...
Please pardon me for asking.
Yeah.
Did you say new?
Yes.
Or the existing microfinance bank?
To register.
Okay.
300 new banks to register on the collateral registry. We have hundreds of banks.
Mr. Goshe,
We have
because
hundreds of banks.
it's seen to be a process that should be hinged on sustainable developments as well. And looking at the fact that the previous plans were driven by process and permits, as it were, for this new plan, how much of that would you say, of the new plan, because you've been gone through it, how much of the new plan do you think will play out at the levels of ministries, departments, and agencies for Nigeria?
And that's really part of where I like to anchor my views on government effort. Look, nobody's here to badmouth government or to say that they're not doing anything. They're doing something. It's not new. It's not the first time. All governments have done something. The question is, what is the rigor, the quality of that doing something? Do you understand? Now, I noticed when Dr. Oduwole was speaking that she used the language of, if you like, the secure or, secure middle of the pyramid business people. So she talked about, oh yeah, if you want to take a loan and then you use your factory. This is the problem. When I talk about the BOP, governments, especially in Africa, and Nigerian government, all of them have a challenge of speaking the language, of penetrating the dynamics of the BOP.
The whole factory doesn't penetrate enough?
No, it's not factory. I'm saying they do not know how to speak fluent BOP. Because what she just talked about is not the bottom of the pyramid business.
What will that be?
I'm thinking of those women and men out there.
He's talking about micro.
The mini micro.
He's talking about micro.
The mini and the micro, level of business. And that is your foundation. That is your foundational economy. If you do all these nice things, good intentions, even at the middle, forget at the top. I mean, we've done it forever. It's never going to trickle down. If you don't know the language, the dynamic, the smell and feel and touch of what's... Look, I asked her a question off the camera. I asked her.
We need to go to break, but I reckon that we may have to continue at that micro level when we come back in a moment.
Yes, very important.
Welcome back. Okay, conclude on your thoughts, Doctor.
So what I'm saying is the Nigerian government needs to do a better job of building the foundation. You see, the bottom of the pyramid is the foundational prop for all the other layers of the Nigerian economy. If that level is not doing well, if we don't understand enough what's going on there, like I was saying, I asked my sister here, what is the current interest rate, monthly interest rate by the MFPs? And she said, well, I don't know. And this is not a critique of her. What I'm just saying...
Driven by market forces?
Well, she said market forces. Markets are always failing. The market forces are always failing in a society like ours. It's being rigged every second. Everybody's cheating everywhere.
So what should we do in that case?
What we should do is we should pay more attention, put in place real structures and processes, and if you like, the conceptual, the policy knowledge power to really fully understand the BOP economy, start to build it up. You see, because that's the economy that shifts people up socioeconomically to the middle class, various layers of the middle class. You need to get that place right.
Thank you, Chairman. So I like to talk with facts. I don't like to talk in abstract. And what I would say is this intervention, ease of doing business, and the National Action Plan are based on SMEs. That's the middle of the pyramid. This administration is doing so much on bottom of the pyramid. Bank of Industry, the G program. There's a National Development Bank now. There are a number of interventions There's the Anchor Borrowers Program. In agriculture, we're doing so much in that area. If I were to get one of my colleagues as handling bottom of the pyramid, you would be amazed at all the interventions. Whether it's the cash payments, there's several things to jumpstart that area of the economy. Our informal sector is huge, as we all know, and there's a lot of interventions both at the federal and state level on that particular demographic. That is not this National Action Plan. That is not what the policy is. That is not what it's targeted at. It's not at the larger companies. It's not at micro. However, it does not mean that this administration is not doing several things. And I like to talk with facts, really with specifics. I can list a number of initiatives, like I said, amounts being given out on small loans, a lot of trying to harness and get the statistics. Bureau of Statistics does have transportation statistics on the cost of transport in different cities across the country. So there are a number of things, and I don't want us to go too broad. We would not leave and we would not stay focused. But if you want to have that conversation on bottom of the pyramid, I'll be glad to come back and have it.
Okay, well, I guess we'll have to do that because the director wants us to go right now. We want to thank you for coming on. Dr. Jumoke Oduwole is the essay to the President on Trade and Investment, Office of the Vice President. And Mr. Bolachi Ogunsha is a Sustainable Development Economist. Thank you both for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's the show today. We thank you all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain.
And I'm Jimba Omar.
Thank you. I'm Neota Igwe.
I'm Maupe Ogun Yusuf.
I'm Ajuri Ngalale, and I wish you a wonderful week ahead.